Good morning, liveweatherblogs.com meteorologist Bob Acanfrio with a tropical update for Thursday morning, September 2nd, 2010. First order of business here, which I'll be concentrating most of course, our Hurricane Earl. A strong Category 4 hurricane, maximum sustained winds at 145, movement north-northwest at 18. Minimum central pressure 932 millibars. I think Earl's probably peaked. Did I say that 24 hours ago? Sure. Got a little stronger yesterday, but I believe this is it for Earl. This is probably about the peak. We've seen that pressure kind of fall late yesterday, and now it's kind of steadied on out. And looking at the latest satellite views, you can see the eye starting to get just a slight bit ragged. So this could be it for its peak intensity, and then it should be slowly downhill from there. But as you can see, as it does move up the coast, it should maintain its major hurricane status as it approaches the Outer Banks of North Carolina overnight tonight. Should still be a Category 3 system, so still a powerful system nonetheless. Let's not think. I don't want to put weakening in there and everybody thinks it's dissipating. It's not. It's still going to be a strong storm. Official forecast track hasn't changed by the National Hurricane Center. Models have been about the same, not slight changes. I'll explain those in a minute here. Let's just go over. You see hurricane warnings here along the North Carolina coast, southeastern Virginia. This is where we think we're going to see some hurricane conditions in the next 24 hours. Then we got a hurricane watch up from Virginia here all the way Delaware, Maryland. That's where this hurricane watch is. I think this is probably going to be dropped. It looks like this should be dropped, and we'll just keep the tropical storm warnings in here. It looks like Earl will be far enough east where we shouldn't get any hurricane force winds here from Maryland, Delaware, and even into this little part of Virginia in here, just north of Virginia Beach. So that doesn't look likely. So we'll continue tropical storm warnings throughout the Jersey Shore here. And then we got tropical storm watches for New York City and then along the Connecticut and Rhode Island coast. I think we'll probably keep those. Those might go to warnings, although if this sneaks a little farther east, I doubt it. Tropical storm warnings will definitely hold for central and eastern Long Island, that's for sure. And then we have our second danger area after we get past the Outer Banks, southeastern Massachusetts here, Cape Cod area, Martha's Vineyard, Nantucket Island, all under a hurricane watch. And then our second area where we might see some hurricane watches go up would be for northeastern sections of the Maine coast here, and of course New Brunswick, Nova Scotia. They're looking in line to actually get the actual landfall of Earl as a Category 1 hurricane. It'll pass near Cape Cod as a Category 2, and then a Category 1 transitioning into an extratropical system up here. So still a powerful system as it races up to the north-northeast. So that's where we have where everything's going. Let's look at the satellite view here. So you see Earl. I looked really nice, and then look at these last frames. Getting a little ragged looking there. So that means that it looks like probably a slow weakening trend will now start occurring as it heads towards the Outer Banks for tonight. And this is the benchmark I'm watching, 75 west. This is going to tell me how close it's going to get. So during the day today, I won't be around all day today. My next update won't be till later tonight. But just watch this 75 west carefully. How far west is this going to go today before it really starts making a true north movement? You've seen right now it's still north-northwest. It hasn't made its true north movement yet. So we still have wiggle room in here, and this is going to tell us how close it's going to get to the Cape. If you see this starting to head to about 76 today, if it starts sneaking up in this area, then we might see it getting very close to the Outer Banks. If it stays more true along the 75 line, then it's going east and a good ways east. So, and that's the difference between getting them in the western eye wall or not. So, and it means a lot when it comes to winds. And I'll show you in a minute here how the western side is much weaker than the eastern side of this hurricane too. Winds extend farther out here than they extend out west. So it really makes a difference. This thing goes more than 100 miles east of the Cape. They might not even see hurricane force winds. So that's the difference. So that's what we're going to be watching today. And there we go for that. And you can see the official forecast track like that. We're going to spread this out a little bit here. And again, there's our 75 line. And of course, if this gets closer to the Cape, then that's going to get closer to Cape Cod as well. So again, the effects here have the effects downstream as well. Here's our little kicker here. This is what's going to try to kick this system away from Cape Cod this weekend, as we're going to watch that roll through the Great Lakes. And then you can see still nice outflow here. Beautiful developed system. And just looking at the radar real quick, this is out of Morehead City. Everybody's going to be wanting to watch this radar the next 24 hours here. You can see the outer bands starting to be picked up on the long-range radar, and we're going to watch conditions start to deteriorate later this afternoon across North Carolina here as these first rain bands start moving ashore. So this is going to be a great radar to watch the approach of Earl tonight. And again, our water vapor loop, just wanted to show you, again, this is our kicker. Showing you, look at this. See the flattening of these outflow here? This is stronger shear right in here. So this is where the shear is really going to start affecting Earl. So we should have category 3, and then as it gets east of New Jersey, this is where it's going to start weakening. So it's going to quickly go from a 3 to a 2 to a 1 and an extra tropical. That's how this is going as it quickly weakens as it moves north-northeast. So there's the shear line right there. So that's what we're going to be watching as it starts to weaken. And you can almost see the curve of this too. Where's this going? Just watch this. It's going to go just like this. Does it stay a little farther away from the Cape? We'll have to see. It's going to be a close call. And then again, they're showing you the stronger shear as it moves north. So shear will start slowly increasing as it creeps up to the north. And it gets really into this stronger shear up here. All right, latest models. So here we go, 6Z. 0Z models shifted a slight bit west. We saw a little bit of a shift in the GFS. Brought it a little closer to the Outer Banks, and definitely very close to Cape Cod, if not over it. So let's see, what's 6Z showing? Well, we see early run models, still a little bit of a spread here, and you can see they've snuck a little west as well. And there we go. And then eventually, look at all them targeting New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, eastern Maine up in here. As it gets combined into that low pressure over here as it begins its extratropical transition. Again, more models. You can see a lot of the global models are still off the coast, and that's good news. GFS has been, GFDL has been about the same, just off the coast throughout its period. So here's the GFS. This was 0Z, 500 millibars, and then this is 6Z. So what do we see? 0Z, 6Z. Oh, we see this little kicker here, a trough here in the eastern Great Lakes trying to kick it a little more. It's trying to dig in a little more, and that could shove this system farther east of the Cape, and that could be good news. We'll have to see if this is going to be a 12Z trend or not. Sometimes these 6Z and 18Z models do little tricks on us, and then the 0Zs and the 12Zs come back. So we'll have to see. Just watch for that. Again, we'll see. Does it move farther off? And again, 50 to 100 miles is going to be a big difference whether you get hurricane force winds or not. So we'll have to watch that carefully if that's going to be a trend or not. And here's the 6Z model on GFS. You can see kicked it just a little east of the Cape than the 0Z. So if this verified, they'd just be brushed with those hurricane force winds, because this is going to be about 100 miles off the coast, whereas I'm still thinking it's going to be about 50 from Cape Hatteras. So we'll have to see there. And then this is through Friday evening. You see passing east of New Jersey, really brushing them with some tropical storm force winds, definitely far enough away from hurricane force winds. And then here we go, east of the Cape. This would just brush the Cape with that western eye wall. So the eastern part of Cape Cod and Nantucket Island would get some hurricane force winds. And then finally, there it goes into New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, and northeast Maine would get into some hurricane force winds. And this is where the eventual landfall would be. And this would be for, this is going for, again, Saturday morning up in here. GFDL, again, just to show you this real quick, again, just off the coast. And that's been a trend for the GFDL forever and a day. Again, Euro model, about the same thing. Just showing you this is Gaston. I'll show you that in a minute. And here's the Euro model showing. And Gaston's going farther west, folks, so he's going to be one to watch. But here's Earl, again, just off the coast, almost like the GFS, probably just a tiny bit farther east. And there's Gaston again. We're going to be watching this one because this guy's coming farther west. And then just showing you the winds here. This is a wind field from about 5 a.m. And I wanted to show everybody this because this shows you how much farther they extend out to the east and the west. Even the hurricane force winds, look at this. Look how much stronger and farther they are to the east and the west. So this shows you, as the storm is riding up the coast, you have to be pretty close to the, we have to be at least within 50 miles of this eye wall on the western side to get hurricane force winds. Sure, you could get some gust out here, but I'm talking about the sustained winds. But you can see they extend farther east and west because everybody was asking that question. Well, if it hugs the coast, why isn't Washington, D.C. getting tropical storm force winds? Why isn't Philly? Because they give you a paint the broad brush. They say tropical storm force winds extend outward 230 miles. Oh, yeah, it does, but it's more to the east than the west. So I just wanted to show you guys this, and we could come back to this graphic as this system moves up the east coast to really show you where the winds are. Last but not least, Tropical Storm Fiona could be threatening Bermuda. Bermuda has tropical storm watches. This is going to move east of Earl. So it's going to hook, taking that subtropical high is going to move this, and it's going to pretty much mirror Earl's movement, but farther to the east. May have a chance to little better winds up in here. Shear should lighten a little bit here, so it has a chance to get close to a hurricane. So Bermuda's going to have to watch this carefully. This will be Friday night, early Saturday. So there goes Fiona. And then Gaston. We might be hearing a lot of this name next week. This is a big threat to the islands, I believe, by middle of next week. And just like all the rest of the systems, it's fighting some dry air now. But once it gets west, it's going to get into a better environment. We could see a Hurricane Gaston out here. Again, this one's going to move farther west. There's no doubt about this. High pressure is going to build much stronger up in here, subtropical high. So will this be the first one to go into the Caribbean? Will it move just north of the islands? This is going to be a bigger threat than Earl was to the islands. So I'm going to have to watch this one very carefully. And then, of course, will it threaten somewhere along the U.S. Coast down the road? Too far away, but definitely going to watch this one carefully. And then what else do we have out there? Well, let's paint everybody. Earl, Fiona, Gaston, as you can see, fighting that dry air, but conditions are going to get better out here. We've seen that a lot of times this year so far. And then finally, could this be Tropical Depression 10 this weekend? Hey, could be. Another one to watch coming off the African coast as this active season continues. So just getting back, let's get back to Earl real quick. My thinking is still it comes within about 50 miles of the Hatteras coast overnight tonight. That would put them in that western eye wall along Hatteras. And then again, gets pretty close to the Cape. We'll have to see how the models trend at 12Z. Is it going to shift a little farther east? I'm still thinking it gets pretty close to the Cape as well. Maybe even possibly over the eastern end of the Cape and Nantucket Island. It's going to get really close to that. So we'll have to definitely see. A lot of the effects are going to be along this mid-Atlantic coast, especially Jersey, Delaware, Maryland. A lot of coastal effects of beach erosion, heavy surf. High winds aren't really going to be much of a problem in here. Our biggest threat for high winds is going to be a Cape Hatteras area, and then of course again near Cape Cod. The rest of the mid-Atlantic here and Jersey and even central Long Island, eastern Long Island, it's going to be a big water event. Heavy surf, high winds, heavy surf, beach erosion, and some coastal flooding. That's about it for today. I will have another update. Will be later tonight, probably around 9-10 o'clock tonight. Have a good day and stay tuned to liveweatherblogs.com for the latest developments on Earl.